Wow, that guy was rude. My name is Charles. Allow me to help you out. Hi, this is Charles Cannon, your BMW client advisor. One of the benefits of owning a BMW is BMW's 4 years or 50,000 miles completely free maintenance program. Hi, welcome to Ben's BMW. I'm Charles, and you are? Hey, Charles Cannon here, your BMW client advisor.
Hey there, welcome back to this episode of the Dealer Playbook podcast. Here's a face you've seen before. You probably heard this face. You probably saw him before you even came to the Dealer Playbook. I'm sitting down with Charles Cannon. We're going to be talking about how you can dominate your local community by doing some tried and tested marketing strategies that worked yesterday, worked today. Guess what? They're going to work tomorrow. Stay tuned. Charles Cannon, my man, welcome back to the Dealer Playbook podcast.
Honored to be here again.
You're back in Houston.
I am back in Houston. Yeah, I made the move back from San Francisco to Houston. My company that owns both dealerships asked me to come back, and here I am.
Welcome back to the promised land, dude. This is so exciting. But now I got to ask you, though, because you know Texas. I mean, you know Texas very well. So now that you're back and people say, where are you from? Do you say you're from California? Or you even go down that road? You just say you're from Texas?
No. I always tell people I was born in California, but I was raised here in Texas. So I'm a Texan.
Yeah. And that's also because you wanted to find realtors that would work with you.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Very well. Very well. And you said it's been about 6 weeks.
Yeah. I've been back about 6 weeks. I started early July and been hitting around running. Every day is just a blur. So much stuff to do, so much stuff to learn, but it's been exciting. I love it.
I mean, we met each other or have at least been on each other's radar now for, I'm going to say almost a decade.
Yeah.
At least.
About that.
And I mean, I remember the reason we connected, you came to us and you're like, hey, I want to build a website for myself because I want to put myself out there. And I mean, you go back 10 years, maybe it was even longer than that. Nobody was doing anything to really self-promote at that level. I mean, there were one or two here and there, but it's not like it is now where this whole idea of personal branding and putting yourself out there and really, owning a business within a business, so to speak, or being an automotive-preneur, so to speak, was really a thing. You've, in my mind, you've always kind of been on the forefront of that. I want to talk to you a little bit about this idea or this desire you had to put yourself out there when you were selling before you had kind of climbed the ladder into management. What was it about you coming into the car business that planted that seed within you to say, I've got to do something different. I've got to put myself out there in a way that I can't be dependent on anybody else?
Well, I'll tell you, for me, it was a transition of looking at this as a job versus career. And so once I really decided this is going to be my career, I decided to go all in. I started looking at the people that were successful, at other dealerships across the country. I kind of Google people, kind of see what they did. And I noticed the common theme was that they constant follow up of how they took care of their customers. And they were constantly in their face, whether it's through gift cards or Christmas cards or anything like that. So then I started doing some research on that of how can I consistently get in front of customers, because my long-term goal was to be the number one BMW salesperson in the country. That was my goal at the time, but I knew I had a big hill to climb in order to get there. And so I knew I had to be creative in how I got customers in front of me. And so that's why I was looking at stuff that was forward thinking, like doing videos, and reached out to you about doing a professional website so people could, when they Google me, they would say, okay, there's somebody that's a professional and he takes his craft seriously. And then they're more likely to come to you and buy a vehicle from you.
I love this because, fast forward to 2024, for those that are listening in the future, my beard is all white now. Charles has lost all of his hair. And that's what but it's 2024. You look at this day and age, people, I think it's easy, this excuse I hear a lot, which is everybody's got a website now. Everybody's got a podcast now. Everybody's running ads now. Everybody's doing this, that, the next thing. What's your take on this idea of, I'm just going to get lost in the mix because everybody else is doing it?
I would think the key is just being consistent. Everybody's going to try stuff, but those same people that try, look at where they are 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. 90% of them are going to drop off. because it takes work and you're not going to necessarily see the results immediately. And so since some people's mentality is, if I don't see other results, this is not working, versus I'm going to think long-term and no matter what, I'm going to keep doing this. That's what's going to separate you from the rest of the people out there.
How do you remove the emotion from it? For example, it's easy in the context of, oh, you know what? I'm going to go buy a gold bar at Spot because I know that will, in the long term, grow and it will increase my money. And I'm like, oh, yeah, great. Lock it in a safe. We're good. Safety deposit box. I can sit on that till the day I die. It's going to be worth so much. But then when it comes to the context of what we do for a living, it's like everything's got to be so immediate. We don't do what you just said and focus on the long term. So how do you remove the emotional attachment from this perceived constant sense of urgency that we have to get everything right now?
Well, you still want to do deals today. There's no doubt about that. But if you're thinking that this is your career, your long-term goal is to get multiple customers in front of you from multiple different sources. So you have to think that way and say, you know what? I'm going to continue to work. I'm going to continue to prospect. I'm going to continue to work service. So then, if for whatever reason, one source of customers goes down, I set my other sources to get there. But it's just consistent daily habits of doing what you're supposed to do every single day, and you'll see the results. It may take a while, but I promise you'll see the results that you want to see.
What I love about this is it ties into something that I don't think we talk nearly enough in this industry about. You go to the conferences, you go to workshops, seminars, 20 groups, and all of the information is very absolute, meaning all you need to do is a website. All you need to do is run ads. If you're not doing SEO this way, then you're not correct. You'll never win, blah, 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 blah. But when you contrast that to what you just said, Charles, you said consistency is key. And I can think about the application in my own life. I mean, for example, are there 1,000,001 automotive podcasts out there now? Absolutely. The one thing, even some that are probably much larger than this one, which is cool, mazel tov. But the one thing that nobody can ever take from me is the consistency in doing this over almost 11 years, right? Like that is something, it doesn't matter. And from a branding perspective, that consistency plays into a top of mind awareness, which removes this feeling we all have, or this idea that we all have that we need to go viral. Consistency to what you're talking about is so important because it removes the attachment to the idea of going viral, because you're more concerned about the community that's around you. And by virtue of that, viral is not a thing. It's better to have, 10 handshakes than it is 1 million views from China on TikTok, right?
100% facts. Yeah, it's like a drip campaign. You're constantly on their mind. It's a subconscious thing. They see you on social media posting stuff. They see you out there doing stuff in the community. You're every time they come to service, you're just saying hi to them with no ulterior motive of selling them a car. You're just checking in on them and seeing how life's going. One of the things I do is I follow a lot of my customers on LinkedIn, and if I see a job promotion, hey, congratulations on your job promotion. Just little things like that. It just helps you stand out to them, and you're on top of mind whenever they have a vehicle that they looking to purchase, or even somebody in their circle of influence.
You said a combination of two of my favorite words when put in this sequence, and you said stand out. And the reason I love that word combination is because this is an industry that often is very concerned about what everyone else is doing. But it's like, how can you stand out from the pack if you're standing in with the pack? If you're concerned about what everyone else is doing and never looking to differentiate. And you said something that is so key. If we could draw an underscore on our screens right now, you actually take time, Charles, to follow your customers on LinkedIn and pay attention to them? What?
That's a big deal. I mean, it's a professional environment. People are on LinkedIn. And I tell my salespeople all the time, I said, don't feel uncomfortable following them, because if they have a public domain, they want to be followed. If, in worst case scenario, they don't want to follow it, they'll just reject you. It's no problem. But that's extreme. I mean, majority of customers don't mind, and they don't mind interacting with you, and they get to see a different side of you. They don't see you as just a salesperson. They see you as somebody that's personal. And then if you build enough good ratio with them, follow them on Facebook and Instagram as well. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's social media. It's meant to be social and talk and get to know people. And you'd be amazed how many referrals you get just because of that. Just again, because you're human. You're not the evil salesperson. You're a human being that has real emotions, real feelings, and real life experiences that would connect with people.
I want to get your thought on this as it relates to what you just said. Do you think there's an element at play here where we went so far on digital mediums that we're kind of coming around back to, I need to talk to a real human. I need to know a real human. I need to shake a real human's hand, look them in the eyes, get to know them beyond surface level texting and one word comments on LinkedIn and Facebook, the great, love it.
Yes.
100 emoji. Awesome. But like people are really starting, we went so far down the digital that people are actually craving real human to human connection. What's your take?
Oh, absolutely. One of the things I tell my salespeople to do, I encourage them is, whenever a customer leaves, they didn't buy a vehicle for whatever reason, send them a video message saying, hey, thank you for stopping by. When they get in an inquiry, I tell them to do the same thing. Send a video. It humanizes you, and it just allows that extra level of interaction that they won't necessarily get through a text or email. I tell them it's uncomfortable for some of them because they don't like being faced in front of the camera. But I tell them, you know what? At the end of the day, you're humanizing yourself, and that can make a difference long term.
Can I put you on the spot real quick?
Let's go.
You brought up sending them a video a couple of times now. I'm sure you've done so many videos now that you kind of have like a word track that resonates with you, that comes out. Would you mind sharing that with us so we can, those that are listening or watching can get an example of like, okay, Charles picks up his phone, he clicks on the camera and he looks into it. And what's something that you would say? So
let's say, for example, a customer left and I couldn't close them on the car. I would just say, hey, Mr. Customer, I'd like to thank you for stopping by here at ABC Motors. Here's the vehicle that we looked at. It's still here for you. I'd love to give you an opportunity again to come by and see it and we can test drive it again. Please feel free to reach out to me at blah, 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 blah. Something like that. Or you send out a text if it's their happy birthday or anniversary. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, happy anniversary on your vehicle. It's been a year. I see that you've been here in service recently. Hope all is going well. Boom. Or if it's internet lead. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, my name is Charles Cannon. I'm the internet sales manager here at ABC Motors. I wanted you to put a face with the name. I'm going to be the person you're going to be interacting with. I see you left an inquiry on this nice BMW X3. Good news is it's right here. And I point to it and start going over the features on it and just go from there. And it's not hard. Once you start doing it a few times, you'll get over your nerves. You'll get over the anxiety that some people may experience. And you'll actually, once you start seeing the results, you'll go, oh, this is so easy. And on another side, dog, I've been telling people, this is the way the industry is going. And 5 years from now, this is just going to be as normal sitting in an email. So you might as well get used to it if you plan on being in this industry for a while.
Yeah, I love the using the tools and resources that each of us have at our disposal, right? There are sales pros out there right now with this thing. They're probably doing the doom scrolling, right? Looking through reels, wondering, what can I do? It's so dead in here. And you're saying, hey, I'm going to take some time. I'm going to, going back to your concept about long-term and consistency, I'm going to invest time into growing my business and deepening connections that I have with real human beings that goes beyond just, a like or a whatever. And I'm going to make them remember me. I've been thinking about this recently. I've been working with my pal Glenn, this crazy idea to build a dealership from scratch, having no clue what we're doing. And we've learned some interesting things along the way that I think underscore what you're talking about, which is in order to be different, you have to actually be different. And different requires effort. Something as simple as saying, oh, you could do a video becomes a little bit more complex in application. We're dealing now with personality types. Oh, I'm not comfortable on video. You brought up nerves. what would you say to those that are maybe having those feelings? They know, oh man, I keep hearing this. People keep saying I got to do video. It sounds so simple, but why is it so hard for me to just maybe get over the perfection complex? I don't know. I don't have better words to articulate it. I know for myself, I talked myself out of doing video for months and months because of, this idea of trying to be perfect and, oh, shoot, I flubbed over my words. But what would you say to that individual to maybe encourage them and say, hey, no, just go? Hey, does your marketing agency suck? Listen, before we hop back into this episode, I know you know me as the host of the Dealer Playbook, but did you also know that I'm the CEO of Flex Dealer, an agency that's helping dealers capture better quality leads from local SEO and hyper-targeted ads that convert? So if you want to sell more cars and finally have a partner that's in it with you that doesn't suck, visit flexdealer.com. Let's hop back into this episode. But what would you say to that individual to maybe encourage them and say, hey, no, just go?
I'd say write down the worst case scenario. What's the worst case? Because you get a chance to edit the video before you send it. It's not like a FaceTime where it's live. Now you can't do that, and which I encourage to do that as well. But we can talk about that later. But you just edit it, but don't overthink it. Just like you're talking to somebody in person. How would you do the video? And you just do it like that, knowing that 90% of people aren't even doing them. So you're going to stand out, even if your video is not the best quality in the world. They're going to just appreciate the fact that you're doing it. And then you have to just wish for practice. And as you practice, you'll get naturally better at it. And then it'll be just nothing to even think about.
I don't know why I find humor. I find humor in this idea of we live in a world where people tend to not think and then skip right past thinking to overthinking. Like they go from not knowing how to think to overthinking, and it happens in the blink of an eye. And you just made me think of it as you're saying, just don't overthink it, just do it. It reminds me of my buddy Paul, who says posted is better than perfection. Because posted, and I know you know this, and I know this all too well, posted is where the difference lies. There are millions of people in our industry, hundreds of thousands of which have recorded 8 gazillion videos and never did anything with them because they went right from not thinking to overthinking. And what will differentiate us in large part is the posted piece. Just do it. You don't speak perfect anyways. Like, pay attention to the conversations you have with your loved ones, your friends, family, buddies, whoever. You don't speak perfectly. You flub over your words. You know, all sorts of things. And I don't know. I want your take on this, because I think that's probably what our customers or potential customers want from us. They want to just know they're dealing with a real person.
I would say this: if you're listening to this podcast, there's a reason why. Do the video. Just get it done. You'll thank yourself later, and you're going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. Somebody laughs at you, so what? It's just a video. But it will benefit you. Again, if your job is that this is a career, long-term thing that you want to do and not just a job, you need to do it. You're going to be ahead of the curve, and it will make you so much more money and income because more customers will come see you because you will stand out in the market. So don't think, just do.
Let me ask you this. In line with career, not job, obviously we know attrition in our industry is crazy high. Turnover, employee turnover, all these sorts of things. We know in recent years, the conversation of culture and its impact on a workplace and happiness and fulfillment is rising up to the surface. Still much more work there to do. But when you say, but I think it's safe to say that probably majority of people in our industry are here because it's a job, right? Barrier to entry is low. The opportunity to make crazy money is high. Where I'm going with this is, how do you recommend people shift their mind to think of this as a career, where maybe many of their outside factors inside of that dealership are treating them like it's a job? You must be here at this time. you work these hours and you leave at this time. HR says you got to do this. I mean, there's certain things to think like an entrepreneur, you can't think like an employee. But your environment is telling you every day you're an employee. How do you break out of that and say, despite that, I will think like an entrepreneur?
The thing is you have to find your why. What are you trying to accomplish in life? Is this something that you want to do? Maybe you're on the wrong part of the bus. What I mean is, you may be working in service and say, you know what, I'd rather be in sales, or vice versa. I have people all the time who transition to different departments because it's just not what their passion is. And then they find the right department and then they take off. It may be, you know what, I'm not good on the sales side. I need to be more on the OEM side. That happens all the time as well. So you have to find your niche of what works for you and just go all in. Don't leave an option of I have 1 foot in, 1 foot out because it won't work. But if you go in and say, I'm going to give it my all, I'm going to figure it out, and this is what I want to do, then you're fine. But yeah, this industry is not for the weak. If it ain't for you, it's going to chew you up and spit you out quickly. So, it's something that it's tough to do when it's just a job. I will say that.
Was there ever a time in your past coming into this industry that it was a job before it was a career, and what flipped the switch for you, if so?
Oh yeah, it definitely was a job. When I got in the industry, it was just something to do till I found a quote unquote real job. But after I got fired as a pre-owned manager and I immediately transferred back to the sales floor, at that point I had to decide that this is what I want to do seriously or not. And at that point I took it seriously. And that's when it transferred to my career, when I took off and that was in 2012, and 12 years ago, and here I am right now. And at that point I took it seriously and said, this is what I want to do the rest of my life.
I love it. When you look at your circle of influence, the people the other parents that have kids the age of your kids that maybe go to the school, you see them at school drop off, the people you go to church with, your peer circle, etc. In your estimation, how many people in your sphere know what you do for a living, would you say?
Just about everyone. In my influence,
I it was a leading question.
Yeah,
I kind of knew you were going to say that.
I was thinking, no, everybody does. Because even if I don't talk to them in person, they know me they follow me on social media. They know what I do.
How important is that? What did that look like? I mean, did it grow organically? Were there periods where you were the obnoxious car guy that told everybody I sell cars? Or how did that look in application? Because I guess where I'm going with this is I think back to the point about digital, and we always think digital about everything. And, I need a website, and I need a new logo, and I need social this and that. We sometimes forget the acres of diamonds sitting right in front of us, just getting to know our peer circle, our neighbors, etc. What did that process look like for you?
When I first started, there was this, I had hesitation to tell people, because it always was a very polarizing conversation with people. And this is when I was trying to decide this is what I wanted to do. It was either they had very good stories or they had horrible stories, and you felt like you were being judged for the whole industry, what they had experienced. Everybody's had that bad experience as they deal with a car salesperson. But then it got to the point to where, you know what, I'm not that person. And I know plenty of other people who aren't those people. And there's great pride in what we do, and so when that mindset shifted for me, I was quick to tell everybody what I did, but I was never obnoxious about it. But, I just made sure it came up naturally in the conversation. And if I didn't bring it up, then, somebody around me did, whereas family or my wife or, friends, they all know what I did for a living. And I've been doing it so long that they know, okay, he's serious about it.
I love that. I love that it's a polarizing conversation. You know what I mean? It's like, you sell cars. What? It's like you're asking them if they're voting for Kamala, for crying out loud, or voting for Trump, for crying out loud. It's like, this is what I do for a living. Some dudes taste ice cream for a living. I sell cars for a living. And getting to this point, as I'm sure you did in this kind of transformational moment where it went from job to career, where you realized, dude, there ain't nothing wrong with this career.
Exactly.
What's your big beef? I sell cars. Get over it. You had a bad experience somewhere? Guess what? Remember the last time you ate at McDonald's? That was probably a bad experience. Guess where you're going for lunch tomorrow? McDonald's. You're going to come back.
Exactly. No, it's true. And it's just a mindset. And I look at it as I get the privilege of putting somebody's second most expensive purchase in their life typically in their driveway. And I help them with that process. And there's nothing more exciting to have somebody tell you, man, I've been driven about this car my whole life, or I've been saving up years to get this particular car, or I custom ordered it. And, just seeing that passion, you get great joy out of that, few things you do for a living can do. And then also I remind people that it's not the industry that makes you evil. They're human beings, and there's bad people in every industry. It doesn't matter what it is. There's going to be bad people, and it's not just because that profession. So, it's just a mindset. And also I will tell you this, in the age of internet and social media and Google reviews and all that stuff, though, a lot of those bad apples have weeded themselves out, because you can't do this a long time and be that kind of salesperson. You'll get kicked out quickly. If not by the dealership, then definitely by consumers. They won't come back to you.
This is why I really think the best online marketing starts offline. If it starts with you as the individual, knowing your why, like you talked about, I know what gets me out of bed in the morning. I know what motivates me. I know what I desire. I know what I want to build. And I know I'm a good person, and I desire to be a positive influence in other people's lives. If it starts there, the best marketing you could ever do online will just be an amplification of that message. Michelle Denogene, a friend of mine, she's not in our industry anymore, but she was the chief marketing officer at Roadster, a brilliant marketer. She said the biggest mistake you can make in marketing is to make promises online that you can't fulfill offline. And it sounds like everything you've done to build has started from a foundation of offline, real world. And why people resonate with you online is because when they get to experience you, they realize you're the same person. And you said, there's going to be kind of bad or corrupt or conflicted people in any industry. And that's so true. I mean, we get so caught up, Charles, I feel like, oh man, we got a negative Google review. Who else got a negative Google review? Everyone. Yeah. There's not one business on this planet who has not received a negative Google review. Why are we so hung up on negative Google review when if we had a foundation to draw back to, which is good person choosing to have a positive impact in the world, that I can go and use that reason to contact this person and set it straight, to have them experience how we deal with conflict and how there's a silver lining to everything and how we can take care of them. Do you think money just gets in the way sometimes? Like, it's like, oh, but money's on the line. They wanted to return the car, and I'm going to see the spiff removed from my paycheck. And is it as easy as that? Is it as easy as money corrupts us? Is what steers us down the wrong path?
I would say definitely that is one of the reasons. I can't tell you, unfortunately, how many times we have customers that'll leave a bad Google review and they'll tell you up front, hey, if you don't give me formats from our car, I'm leaving a bad Google review. And again, not all cases, but there's an extreme few that they know how to play the game, and it's unfortunate that that's the way some people are. I can't tell you how many people they'll leave bad Google reviews for you, and it's not even, they never even did business with you. So you have those extreme people, and unfortunately, it is one of those things that people look at when they look at a dealership. That can make a huge difference whether they do business with you or not. Is your Google reviews versus another store. And if somebody's at 4.8 stars or somebody is at 4.4 stars, then that could sway them. So yeah, it can cost you money.
It reminds me of the comedian Chris D'Elia. He has a stand-up bit where he's like, I'm always so amused by people that come to my stand-up show and then leave, and they heard one bit that they didn't like or that offended them, and then they go and leave a bad review about the show. And he's like, you know what I think is so crazy about that? We're joking. It's all made up. Yeah. We don't believe what we're saying. It's a joke. Like, in other words, kind of this like, get over yourself. But when you think about it, everybody gets negative reviews. How you deal with them, how you use them as an opportunity to show people who you really are and that you really do care, I think is a huge differentiator. I'm sure you've gotten negative reviews in your career. How do you deal with those conflicts?
When I get those negative reviews, I look at them and say, okay, was this a genuine situation? If so, I always make sure to call the customers myself and apologize about the experience, and I'll give them my side of the story. And sometimes the customers, after we talk to them, they'll say, you're right, and they'll remove the review. Others will leave it on. But we look at areas of opportunity to get better, and I call the customer, if nothing else, and tell them thank you for the feedback. We'll use this as an opportunity to, if I need to coach a specific teammate or get better in a particular situation, we'll take care of it and address it. Hopefully it doesn't happen again.
It's like a well-trained athlete, because they get negative feedback all the time from their coaches. You did this wrong. You did that, blah, 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 blah. What separates the amateurs from the pros is the pros, I think, approach it with the mindset you just articulated, which is, I'm going to use it as an opportunity to get better.
Yeah, you don't take it personal. They're usually not attacking your character. They're just attacking the situation. You just happen to be the face of it. So you just have to address it. Okay,
I got one last question for you here before we wind down. You've seen lots of economic ups and downs in your career. In particular, with the season that we're in, there's still some weird supply chain stuff from some OEMs. Interest rates are crazy. Inflation is nuts. Income levels have not matched to the level of inflation. People can't buy houses, this, that, and the next thing. And now we're facing $1,000, $1,300, $1,500 car payments. How do you take that as an opportunity? How does Charles Cannon look at the circumstances right now and lean in? What are some of the things you're thinking about?
Well, for me, all these, because I've been through the '08 crisis, I've been through all these crazy situations, and each time I look at it as a glass half full versus half empty. I say, there are a certain segment of the population that aren't affected, by these big swings and downturns. They are smarter with their money. So you just have to be professional and, give them reasons why they should buy from you at the time. Even if their payment's going up, okay, it's going up, but this is what you're getting, ABC 1, 2, 3, versus you keeping your vehicle and you need a buy warranty. And your next, if you look at the next few years, how much you're going to spend in maintenance, you're going to spend an extra $200 anyway. So you might as well get something new and stuff like that. So these are conversations that you have intelligently with guests, but you do it with integrity. And, you're doing it for the right reasons. And if it's not the right time, you tell them, hey, this isn't the right time. But yeah, that's just reality. Everything's going up in price. And I just tell my guys, just concentrate on one customer at a time, interact with one guest at a time, give them the best experience ever. And, everything will take care of itself at the end of the month.
Okay, I lied. I have one more question, because now I've heard you use the word twice in the same sentiment. You refer to your customers as guests. How does that change your mindset in how you work with them?
Well, actually, I learned that in my time with Lexus. They say treat everybody like guests, like you would a guest in your home. And it just changes things, because how would you treat a guest in your home? You welcome them with open arms. You give them the best experience. You make sure the environment is clean and comfortable for them to want to naturally do business with you. Versus if they're just a customer, it's kind of that impersonal thing, i.e. like, being a salesperson that doesn't follow them on social media versus you being on social media with them. It humanizes you and helps build that natural relationship that they want ultimately. Because I tell people all the time, there are a lot of people, they just want to find that one car salesperson and just deal with them forever. They don't want to have to constantly go shop around and different things like that. But in order for you to do that, you have to build that relationship and make them trust you to get to that point. And it takes time.
I love it, man. This is so much fun. You're always a wealth of information. I love your wisdom from experience. How can those listening and watching get in touch with you and connect?
Well, you can follow me on all the social medias. Instagram, CLCannon3. Look up on LinkedIn, Charles L. Cannon, or my website, charleslcannon.com, and have my information on there.
Charles Cannon, thanks so much for joining me on the Dealer Playbook podcast.
Thanks, my friend. Always good to be on here.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Dealer Playbook podcast. If you enjoyed tuning in, please subscribe, share, and hit that like button. You can also join us and the DPB community on social media. Check back next week for a new Dealer Playbook episode. Thanks so much for joining.